It's Kenny. Welcome or welcome back. So lovely to see you again. Did you do something different with your hair? It's cute. I like it. I like it. Anyway, today is gonna be a little bit of a different video. It's gonna be more chatty just because I've just had some thoughts kicking around up here and I wanted to share them because I'm sure other people are probably feeling like this too. But I just really wanted to talk about time, our time, and how we really got to stop wasting it. Um, I know I feel I'm very qualified to talk about this because as a chronic time waster, I know something's got to change, truly. Especially if you're anything like me and you like the traditional like 9 to 5 just really is not in the cards for you and it's something you want to avoid if you can help it. Just because like there's absolutely nothing wrong with 9 to 5 people that work them. It's just I know that for me, I couldn't thrive in a field like that. It's just not for me. Editing Kenny here. Hi, hello. I just wanted to make it a bit more clear that again, like I was saying in the video, I'm not at all knocking 9 to 5s. I know realistically, in order to get to where I want to go, I'm most likely gonna have like a 9 to 5 in order to survive. But I was saying that the end goal for me is not to have a 9 to 5 and to ideally be working for myself. But since that is the case, what I'm doing now, the habits that I have now are doing me no favors in getting me to where I aspire to be, you know? Um, and it's really time to start self analyzing and looking at those behaviors. What is it that's not working? And then doing something different to try and change that. Because we're at that age, or at least I am. I'm 23, and we're at the age that what we're doing now is going to have such a huge impact on where life looks for us um in like 5-10 years down the road. And I can say with confidence that if I stay on the path that I'm at, not shit is going to change. Absolutely nothing's going to happen for me, and I don't like the thought of that. So it's time that I do something different and start listening to myself, like start following through on things. Um because if you've seen any of my videos, I've mentioned it um previously, but my biggest enemy is consistency, and that's because I've never actually had to be consistent in anything of consequence before, you know? Like not really thing that had like a big impact on me. Like I was able to just go from thing to thing and just not really have to apply myself to anything. So if should, roadblocks happen or, you know, things come up in whatever I was trying to do, I could just drop the activity and then go to something else and be like, whatever. I wasn't good at it the first time. Well, then guess it wasn't for me. Blah, blah, blah. And that does nothing for you. Shocker. Yeah, that's not really, it didn't really train that muscle of discipline, of consistency. So it made it so easy for like when I say I want to do something, but then the moment comes and I feel like, oh, I don't really feel like doing that right now. It made it so easy to give into that feeling instead of just powering through. Like, feel how you feel, but do the thing anyway. I've never actually had to exercise that muscle before. But like I was saying, as we're getting older and like shit really starts to matter, if like the life that I want to live requires a certain amount of dedication and consistency, I really need to be on my Zoom, as the kids say. Really to lock in and be on my Zoom. That was from my time. What do you mean, kids? Girl. Anyway. I really need to. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to kick you. But I really need to follow through what I'm saying I'm going to do, because like it's honestly, it has become a habit, you know? You learn to not trust yourself, or like you feel like you don't really have to listen to yourself when you say you're going to do something, because that's the habit that I have formed. When I say, "Oh, I want to do," sorry, I had to do some maneuvering cuz the sun decided to start blazing after it disappeared for a minute. But anyways, what was I saying? Y'all, what was I saying? Someone remind me. Habits, something about habits. See how easy it is for me to lose my train of thought? Jesus Christ. Anyways, as I was saying, um, yeah, it just became like the norm was, because I didn't feel like it in the moment, I would just like not listen to myself and scroll on my phone, watch TV, do literally anything other than what I said I was going to do. And it just built this habit of just mistrusting myself and being so easy, making it easy for myself to like not do something just because I didn't feel like it, you know? And that absolutely has to change if I have these plans that I want to achieve, which I mean, like, duh, like you realistically, you know this, but it's so different putting it into practice. I feel like, um, because it can be hard. It can be hard, but what's more important, your comfort or achieving your dreams? Because like I feel like that journey to getting to where what you actually want to do isn't getting to where you getting to where you actually want to be in life isn't always going to be like, you know, sunshine and rainbows. You're not always going to feel like doing the thing, but the difference between people who achieve what they say they want to achieve and the people that don't is that they feel those feelings, but then they do what they're going to do. They do it anyway. They do it feeling unmotivated. They do it feeling tired. They do it feeling shitty, whatever, but they still do it, you know? And that is what I'm trying to work on, what I'm really wanting to work on, because I owe it to myself to trust in myself and to believe myself when I say I'm going to do things. I owe it to myself to take my time and use it wisely. I definitely spend way too much time on my phone. I spend way too much time in my bed. And I just like I'll have these Pinterest boards of the life that I want for myself, and I'll have like, you know, I'll like manifest and blah blah blah, but like there's only so much that can do for you before you actually have to start taking steps, like active steps in obtaining that goal. What really brought this on was in my little like hiatus from posting. Like actually I hadn't even intended on not posting anything for like over a month. I actually had episode 2 of the Touch Grass Diaries recorded. Like my brother and I, we went to Nashville. We had like a little day. Excuse me, we had like a little day in Nashville. We went to the zoo, ate some good food, went to this like thrift store and stuff, but I just wasn't really happy with how the content was coming out, so I ended up scrapping the idea. And I didn't have anything else planned, and like on top of like working and also just thinking about what I wanted my channel to be about, like what I actually wanted to post, it just really got me thinking about what I'm talking about now, like wasting time and stuff like that. Because if you remember from my Get Ready With Me video that I had posted, I had mentioned that I wanted to change the direction of the channel to not be so focused on like reading and writing for X, Y, and Z reason. I forgot. But the gist was that like I decided I didn't want to like make it focused on that. But after having some time to really think about what I wanted to make, what I wanted to do, I knew that the reason that I wanted to change for in the first place, to like to get away from that, was because I deep down I kind of was just scared of the commitment and the effort and the work it would take to make that my thing, which is like, of course it's going to take work, of course it's going to take effort, but like I said, when you're not used to being consistent in anything, that the thought of sticking to a pathway and like choosing that thing to be what you do was just, it was scary, like I've never had to like stick with anything before. Like I didn't stick, I've never stuck to a job, I've never stuck to a hobby, I've never like sat down and like chose this thing to do, and like to consistently choose it again and again. And like if this is something that I want to take seriously, obviously that really has to change. And I just was scared of what that was going to look like. Like I wasn't really afraid that I was going to fail necessarily, because like realistically, if you post consistently, you have something that people can come back to on a regular basis, and they see that you're actually like, making something and it resonates with them, then that's how you build an audience. That's how you gain that retention, So whether it's fast or slow, you're gonna build something, So I wasn't really scared of like it not going anywhere. I was more scared of like, damn, I have to apply myself to something. Like I can't just like, when I'm not feeling up to it, I can't just like not post. Like if you want to take it seriously, then yeah, you can't just not post. Like you can feel shitty, you can feel tired, you can feel unmotivated, but you can feel like that, but you have to post while feeling like that. You can't just let vibes and motivation just like push you, because you're not always going to feel motivated. But you're making the active choice to give into that feeling of feeling bleh, and choosing to stay in bed all day versus actually putting out content. And that's why, like, when you I'm saying you, but I'm talking about me. Like when you see like content creators that you look up to, or you see people living the life that you want to be living, that you want to be doing for yourself, that's why you kind of like feel like shit, because like you made the choice to sit and watch them instead of like doing it for yourself. um it really can be such a sucky feeling to like be constantly letting yourself down in that way, you know like you should be doing something else, but you really just can't bring yourself to do it, or because you're stuck in that habit of not listening to yourself. When you do see these people doing what you want to do, it does feel like, damn, I'm really dropping the ball here. And like it becomes important to look at those behaviors, to analyze and self-reflect and see that, like, if I want to be here, something over here has to change. And it becomes so important to like see those bad habits and see what's not working for you, and then actively change it. If that's something that you're serious about, you're serious about like something lacking in your life, then the only person that can change it is you. And like, this does sound like that same, like the self-help shit that you probably hear, or the advice that you hear online or in books or whatever, but there's serious truth to it. And like there comes a point where you actively want to sit down and listen to it and like take it in and have it resonate with you before you're like, okay, yeah, I think I actually do want to change. I do want to do something different with what I'm doing currently. You're gonna have to do it scared. You're gonna have to do it unmotivated. You're gonna have to do it, feeling all these negative things, but you're gonna have to do it. Shocker. You're gonna have to do it. It's gonna have to get done. You're gonna have to be the one to actually put in the work to do it if you want it to change, if you want things to change. And yeah, I feel like I also have this habit of like because I would drop things so often, I wouldn't want to share new things that I want to do with like my friends or whatever because like I don't know, putting it out there just makes it real. And I can't like if no one else knew, then me dropping something or me moving on to something else, I didn't really feel like I needed like it wasn't a huge deal because I was the only one that knew that I was doing said thing and then change my mind. It's this odd sort of balance, I think, because there's nothing wrong with changing your mind and figuring out what you like and what you don't like, you know? Like, stop saying but it's this weird balance. There's nothing wrong with putting things down, coming back to them at a later date, whether it's like months or years or whatever. But like, there's nothing wrong with setting things down and moving on or like finding what you do and don't like. But there is an issue with like that becoming a habit because if the difference is if it's actually something that you do find interesting but you don't let yourself do it because you're so used to letting negative emotions dictate whether you do the thing or not. That's where the issue kind of lies. Um, and so because of that, I want to put out there that I want to write stories. I want to be an author. I would love to just, I just want to tell really good stories. I want to be a part of that. And because, like, my love for lore and stories, it never went away. The medium changed. Like maybe I wasn't reading books, sure, but it did change to TV shows and movies and like analyzing the lore and the meaning of things and just like, feeling like I understand what is trying to be conveyed and whatever, like just the fascination behind like world building and blah blah blah, like all that good stuff. Like that never actually went anywhere. And I know that I do want to do that. That world is something I want to be a part of. I want to be able to create stories that make people feel something. I want stories that girls that look like me can see themselves in and resonate with and enjoy. And I just want to be in that kind of creative field. And I feel like I didn't want to say it before because of course that now means it's real. And I have to be consistent with it if I want to take it seriously. And I have to like put in like work ethic and drive to be able to achieve that. Hey friends, editing Kenny back again. I also wanted to mention that another thing that kind of scared me off from wanting to proudly make writing my thing was because I would always put this like unnecessary pressure and expectation on myself that what I write has to be this amazing, profound, emotional, whatever thing that I have in my head, when in reality, that is not the case for most writers. Usually it takes reworking and rewriting, like that's the whole process of like writing to just like get it to where as close to where you want it to be as possible. And also it that doesn't happen in a day. It takes time. It can take weeks, months, however long, like years for like full novels for people to write their work and get it to where it needs to be or where their expectations of good writing needs to be. And I wouldn't allow myself to have the patience for that. Again, tying back into if I'm not good at it first try, I drop it kind of thing, which I guess from what I've learned, that's a pretty common neurotypical thing to do. Again, something I'm trying to work on, I swear. But yeah, I just wouldn't allow myself the patience to let it be messy and then go back and rework it. And that's why it's taking a lot for me to, like, make this first step of announcing it and being like, you're putting your foot down, this is what you want to do, and you're going to learn everything you need to learn to make it great. And you're gonna stumble and you're gonna fuck up and you're going to, like, some things aren't gonna be how you want them to be, but the whole point is that you keep going back to it and you keep trying and you keep working at it. So yeah, fuck what I said in that group ready with me. That's kind of where I want to take my channel, because I do want to take this and I do want to take writing seriously. That's where I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years. I've always hated that question in interviews. I never really had an answer to it, but deep down, I really did. I just didn't. I was afraid of applying myself to get there. And when it comes to content creation, there's actually there's this creator that I look up to and I admire a lot. And her name on here is O Donuts. Um and she's her name's Osa, and she's a nurse, and she posts like beauty and lifestyle videos, vlogs, stuff like that. And I really admire how much passion that she has for what she does, and like her dedication to whether it be her job or to like uh her like nursing job or her content creation or whatever. You can just really feel it in her videos. There's so much like passion behind all that. And there was actually something she had said in a recent video she had posted, like a recent vlog, where she was saying essentially, just post it. Just post. You don't need to have the most brilliant setup. You don't need to have the lighting or the, most amazing backdrop, or like you don't let like not letting that be the reason why you don't post it ugly, post it messy, post it whatever, but just post. um and like that's just something that really resonated with me, because I know that I don't have the most perfect stuff, but I do know that I want to like I really want to take this somewhere. I want to take it more seriously, and I want to make this my thing. um and that's just not being afraid. Just make it exist and then fix it later. That's what I've been wanting to work on, and that's kind of what I want to convey to you. Even if your goal or whatever isn't really necessarily like in the creative space, if there's just something that you really want to do, but you've just been making excuses for not doing it, or finding literally anything else other than doing the thing that you say that you want to do, at some point you're gonna look up. It's gonna be months, years later, and you're gonna look around and be like, damn, I didn't do a single thing. I did absolutely nothing to change where I'm at, to I didn't even try. I think that's what gets me the most, is like, you didn't even try. You have the same hours in the day as the people that you look up to, and you chose differently from them. They chose to stick to what they were doing. They chose to get up and post. They chose to go to the gym. They chose to do X, Y, and Z. You chose to watch them do it. You chose to lay in bed. You chose to scroll on your phone, and it's like, that's why like self-reflecting and self-analyzing is so important, because like it's no one else is responsible for this shit but you know? And no one can give you the discipline to do it. It has to come from you. I guess that's where you really find out if that's something you actually want or not. Like, how badly do you want to do this thing, you know? Like, you have to be the one to decide to get up and make the changes and do the hard work in order to get it done. So you really have to look into yourself and like, is this what I want? Like, and if it is, then why don't you do anything about it? Get up, bro. You're wasting daylight. You're wasting time. Do your thing before someone else does it before you, and then you be mad as hell. Because I know that's probably has happened to someone before. You had an idea for something and you sat on it and you thought about it and blah 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 XYZ, but you didn't actually like create it, and then someone else did, and now you mad as hell. Like, that was my idea. Why didn't you? But they acted on it. You didn't. So what can you do? What can you do but make better choices next time? I guess that's really what I'm trying. That's the point that I'm trying to to get across that it's really up to you. If what you're doing now is not where you want to be at, it really is up to you to fix that, to change those circumstances, and to not waste your time anymore, you know? Find better uses for your time that's actually going to help you, because that's something I'm learning as well and something I'm really trying to implement, because what you do now matters. It matters a whole lot, and your future self is either gonna want to kiss you or gonna want to fight you, depending on what you do now. And it's scary, but it's important. So I implore you, really look at what you're doing right now and decide, like, is this working for me? And if not, then do what you need to do to change some shit up. But I really hope in these ramblings that you got something from it, that you got the point that I was trying to make, and that, like, even if it just resonates with just one person, I will be happy. I think, in the spirit of not wasting my time, I do want to share. I think that the next video is gonna be more writing focused. Probably like a little, I kind of want to do a writing challenge. Like, I want to write like some short stories and stuff. I think that's probably gonna be the move for next video. But yeah, I really hope you guys look forward to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. And I hope you're excited for what's coming next for me. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching and spending some time with me today. I really hope you got something from this. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe, talk to me down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.